Hi everyone, welcome to Vinyasa Flow. My name is Michelle Chua. Grab a couple of yoga blocks and a strap, and let's start in a comfortable seat with your legs in front. Dropping your knees apart, you may find it helpful to sit up on a folded blanket or a block. Here's a succinct quote that is anonymous. A bird sitting on a tree isn't afraid of the branch breaking because its trust is not on the branch, but on its own wings. One of the attitudes of mindfulness is self-trust, self-reliance. What are the ways in which you strengthen your trust in your core being, in your ability to have the capacity to hold whatever circumstance that may arise in your life? Let's explore that in the physical practice today. Sitting up tall, press down to your pelvis on left and right sides. Roll your shoulders back and down and begin to pay attention to the sensations in your body. Trusting your own body's wisdom as it's constantly communicating to you through sensations. Now sense the quality of the breath. How does that inform you of the way you feel mentally and emotionally? And then you might bring your hands together at your heart as we start to deepen the breath into your nose and out through your lips. Slowing it down into your nose. Gently whispering it out through the lips. Once more. Now call to mind an intention you may have for your practice today or a personal prayer. Clarifying your point of focus. And then choose someone or something to dedicate this practice to, a way of letting the practice expand beyond our individual selves, our individual lives. Let's prepare to chant, creating resonance as we share the practice. 3 ohms. Honor the silence after each. Inhale deeply. Let's begin to practice Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breathing. As you slow your breath down, if you can, just breathe through your nose with your lips closed, and at the same time, softly narrow or constrict the back of your throat so that you can hear a soft, smooth whispering sound to your breath. As you listen to that sound, stretch the breath as long, both in and out, creating a steady, mindful rhythm. Stay aware of that sound as much as you can throughout this physical yoga practice, a way of aligning your attention to your body and the present moment. And let's begin lying down on our backs. We're going to continue focusing on the hips, or rather external rotation of the thighs. So start by stepping your feet on the ground wider than hips distance apart. Separate your knees just as wide apart as your feet, and inhale, drop your thighs to the right. Exhale, drop your thighs to the left. Keep going a few more times. Feet stay on the floor, so you're windshield wiping your shins side to side. Listen to the sound of your breathing. Keeping it gently audible where the breath is not forceful, but it sounds like gentle ocean waves rising and falling. 2 more breaths. Finishing the last round on both sides, step your feet now hips distance apart. And from your right hip, rotate your right thigh externally, which means turn it out. Lifting your right foot, flex it so the toes are curling up towards your right shin, and cross your right ankle over your left thigh, creating a figure 4 shape. Place your right hand on the top inner side of your right thigh that's close to your hip flexors. And as you keep the back of your left and right hips even on the ground, press away your inner right thigh as you flex the right foot. Relax your shoulders into the earth. Listen to your breath. Now opt to stay here, or we'll take it into thread the needle. Lifting your left foot off the ground, thread your right hand between your thighs, and with both hands, hold on to your left thigh or your left shin. As you breathe, slowly bring the left leg closer to your torso. Keep splaying open your right thigh, maybe nudging it with your right elbow. Make sure that your shoulders are still relaxed on the ground. And if your head is uncomfortably lifting, you might place it on a block or your folded blanket. Let's stay another 3 deep breaths. So feel how your right femur head, the top of your right thigh bone, is rotating outward or externally. That's going to be a recurring theme in our practice today. Feel how your right ankle is pressing against your left thigh. And with that point of contact, how they're firming against each other, you're able to open the right thigh further. After this breath, set your 2 feet on the ground again, hips width apart. And now let's turn out the left thigh at the hip, flex your left foot, and cross the ankle over your right thigh like a figure 4. Start with your right foot staying on the ground. Press your left hand on the top inner side of your left thigh. And as you keep the back of your left and right hips on the ground, press away your left thigh and help to splay it open. Keep relaxing your shoulders, lengthening your neck. Recognize what sensations are coming up for you here and how it might be different or the same as the first side. Part of that building of self-trust is knowing when to back off or going a little deeper in a pose, right? Trusting your body's sensations as guidance. Now let's lift the right foot, if you're ready to take it there, to thread the needle. Thread your left hand between your thighs, and with both hands, catch hold of your right thigh or shin. As you bring the right leg closer, nudge your left thigh open with your left elbow. Make sure that you're still flexing your left foot. You're spreading the toes and you're curling them back towards the shin, which in turn helps to stabilize your left knee as you're opening the left hip. 3 more breaths. And then from here, uncross your legs And take hold of your bent knees. Start to rotate your thighs together and apart a few times, just further warming up your hips, circling the knees outward and inward a few times. Keep listening to your breath. Then start to either rock forward and back, or side to side, so that either way, you can slowly come up to all fours, your hands and knees. Once you're on hands and knees, set up your blocks so that they are on their tallest height, shoulders distance apart at the top of your mat. Then place your hands right behind the blocks so that your index fingers are grazing the back center of each block, creating a number 11. Spread your thumbs towards each other flat. Find a little grip under each fingertip. Now stacking your shoulders right above your wrists. Step your knees directly under your hips. Take a look at your knees. And once there, engage your abdomen. Hug in the front ribs, contract the lower belly, stretch your spine through both ends. Look at the ground about a foot ahead of your thumbs down the midline of your mat. So now we're in a kneeling version of plank pose. Let's move to the breath, taking a few rounds of chaturanga push-ups. Inhale, glide forward. Keep your arms straight, but glide forward as far as you can. Keep the neck long, the belly lifted. Then exhale, bend your elbows so they hug your side ribs. You might tap the blocks with your shoulder heads, depending on how long your arms are, but bend your elbows at 90 degrees, keep the belly firm, and inhale, press up. Exhale, glide back, shoulders over wrists. That's one. Second round, inhale, glide forward, keep the arms straight, the belly lifted, the neck long. Exhale, bend your elbows to point back so they create a 90-degree bend. Inhale, lengthen through the neck, lift the navel, press up. Exhale, glide back. We've got 3 more if you'd like to try with the legs straight. Make sure that you're firming your inner heels back and that there's a long line from the top of your head, tailbone to heels, where the belly is not dumping down or the tailbone's not pointing up. Then there, inhale, glide forward, hover over the blocks with your shoulders. Exhale, hug the elbows to your ribs, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, press up. Exhale, glide back. You've got 2 more to go. Inhale. Exhale, lower, Chaturanga. Inhale, press up, lift through the navel. Exhale, plank. Inhale, forward. Exhale, hug the elbows in, Chaturanga. Inhale, press up. Exhale, plank. Lower to your knees, child's pose. Bring the inner edges of your feet to touch. Sink your hips back to your heels. Rest your forehead on the floor. And let's listen to the breath, 3 to 5 cycles. Slow it down, smoothen it out. So remember to listen to your body and pace yourself. If you ever need to rest or back off or slow down or go more intensely, listen to how your body's guiding you and take care of yourself as you need. From here, come forward, hands and knees. This time, knees a couple inches behind your hips with wrists under shoulders. Spread your thumbs towards each other, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths to move around if you need to, in your own way, like pedaling your feet in place, shaking and nodding your head, maybe swiveling your hips left and right, or anything else. Downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Then start to walk up to the top of your mat, setting your feet hips distance apart in your forward fold. Parallel your feet, bend the knees if needed, and press your fingertips either on blocks or the ground in front of your feet. Inhale, stretch your spine forward as you firm in the belly, send the shoulders away from the neck. Exhale, hinge from your hips, drop your head. 2 more to the breath. Press with your hands. Inhale, stretch your spine forward, creating the feeling of a flat back. Exhale, bow over your legs. Engage the front muscles of your thighs. Again, press the blocks of the floor. Inhale, stretch the spine into Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bow into Uttanasana. From here, from down to your feet, circle the arms apart and inhale, rise to stand. Watch your palms meet overhead. Exhale, trace your thumbs down the center of your body. Mountain pose. Let's start 3 rounds continuously of Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutation A. Inhale, circle your arms apart. Watch your palms meet overhead. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bow from your hips, hugging the front ribs in. Press blocks or the ground. Inhale, stretch the crown of your head forward into Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step into plank and glide forward. Hug your elbows to your ribs, slowly lower all the way. Point your toes, press the tops of your feet into the ground. Inhale, cobra, roll the fronts of your shoulders back and hug your elbows towards your ribs. Exhale, press up into plank, whether knees are on the floor, legs straight, firm in the belly. Lift your pelvis back. And now let's hold still in downward dog for 3 to 5 breaths. Though you're holding still, feel the energy reaching out through all the knuckles of your palms, out through the fingertips. Feel your sitting bones lifting high and drawing back. Your heels sinking downward towards the earth. Finish the end of this next exhale before you walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, press the ground or blocks, lengthen forward. Exhale, bow forward. Press to your feet and firm your legs. Inhale, circle your arms and rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, trace your hands down the center of your body into mountain pose. Tadasana, 2 more. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Walk to plank and glide to Chaturanga or float lightly into Chaturanga. This time choose Cobra or Upward Facing Dog as you breathe in. Exhale, engage the belly to lift the hips. Downward Facing Dog. Let's pause for 3 to 5 breaths. When you're ready, empty the breath, then walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Root down, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Once more. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step or float back to Chaturanga, Dandasana. Inhale, Bhujangasana or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pause for 3 to 5 breaths. So downward facing dog, step your feet together so that they touch. Rotate your right thigh externally at the hip and flex your right foot. Press down evenly through both hands like you're pushing the mat forward and pick up your right foot, cross it in front of your left thigh like a figure 4. Now as you hug in your front ribs, press away the mat with your fingertips and lift your hips back, further back. Drop the head and breathe. One more breath. Let the right thigh splay open as you direct both sitting bones evenly back. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, hug your right knee to the outside of your right upper arm or shoulder. Glide forward into plank like this. Step your right foot directly between your hands and spin the back heel down. Press to your feet. Inhale, cartwheel your arms into warrior two. Warrior two. Steady your gaze just past your right hand with arms wide open. Firm your right outer hip in towards you as you firm the top of your left thigh bone back towards you. Maybe bend the front knee a little deeper towards a right angle, if that's appropriate for you right now. As you bend the front knee, firm down through the outer edge of your left foot. 3 more breaths. Virabhadrasana 2. Let's straighten the right leg. Take it to reverse triangle. With the leg straight, firm the front muscles of your thighs without locking the knees. Rotate your right tricep towards the ground to flip the right palm up. Lift your spine and press down through both feet as you side bend towards the left wall, the back wall. To feel that extension through the right side of your body. Breathe into it. Notice that we're not turning the chest towards the ceiling. We're turning the chest still to face the left wall. So it's not a back bend, it's a side bend. Couple more breaths. Might be looking up past your right fingertips. Keep firming down to your feet and inhale, rise back to warrior two. We're going to prepare for side angle pose in which you might want a slightly shorter stance. With your right knee bent, aligned with your middle toe pointing down the midline of your mat, keep hugging your right outer hip towards you and the top of your left thigh bone back towards you. Glide your hips towards the rear of your mat and reach your right hand beyond your right knee towards the front wall. Lengthen the right side of your torso. Place your right hand on the right side of your right thigh directly under the shoulder. Grab a block and place it at the height you need so you're not squishing into this right side of your torso. And maybe you don't usually use a block. Start with it anyway. Give yourself a lot of space in the beginning, so we're going to be here for several breaths, to really tack the crease of your right hip back towards your outer left foot. Keep lengthening the right side of your torso, and as you do that, press firmly into the ground with your outer left foot and stretch the top of your head towards the front wall. Left arm up to the sky. Rotate your chest slightly upwards. You might be gazing up past the left thumb if it feels okay on your neck. Now at the same time, keep hugging the right outer hip towards you. Wrap the sitting bone under your body. And as your right hand is on a block or the floor, press your right arm against your outer right thigh, but keep your right thigh solidly still, like it's pressing back against the arm. Then you might decide whether or not to continue using the block. Steadying your breathing. Let's rotate the left tricep to face the left wall. Pinky finger towards the left wall. Raise the left arm overhead, and now we're in extended side angle pose. Keep drawing your shoulder blades down your back, rotating the right hip under and the chest towards the sky. Utthita Parshvakonasana, last 2 breaths. Press to your feet, inhale, rise, lean towards the back wall again, peaceful warrior. Exhale, cartwheel your hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Let's save the vinyasa for later. Bring your feet together to touch. Spread your fingers flat. Steady your breathing. From your left hip socket, externally rotate your left thigh bone. Flex your left foot and cross the ankle in front of your right thigh like a figure 4 shape. As you press your palms down, like you're trying to press the mat forward, lift both sitting bones up and back as evenly as you can. With your left ankle pressing against the right thigh, splay open the left thigh. Keep flexing the foot. We're here for a few more breaths. Hug in your navel, your front ribs, activating the abdomen as you press the top of your right thigh bone back. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, hug your left knee to the outside of your left upper arm. Come forward to plank with shoulders right over wrists. Then lightly step your left foot between your hands and spin the right heel down, aligning left heel to arch of right foot. Inhale, cartwheel your arms to arrive in Virabhadrasana 2. So steady your gaze just past your left hand. Tune into your breathing. Sense your awareness of your whole body, your breath. Rolling your left outer hip under your body. Bend the front knee right on top of the heel, tracking the middle toe. Press the outside edge of your right foot deeply into the earth and firm the top of your right thigh bone back towards you. 3 more breaths. Feel the solid foundation within, beyond the physical, your willpower, your inner strength, your inner core. Straighten your left leg, root down to toe spread. Activate your quadriceps. Then lifting your spine, flip the left palm to face up and side bend towards your rear wall. Reverse triangle pose. Full inhale, stretching down the left side of your body. Long exhale, creating balance. You might be gazing up past the left fingertips. 3 more breaths. Press through both of your feet. Inhale back to Warrior 2. As we prepare for side angle pose, you might shorten your stance a couple inches. Slide your hips sideways towards the back wall and reach your left hand way past your left knee, lengthening the left side of your torso. Place your left hand on the left side of your left leg, directly under your left shoulder. Use a block to start as we're setting things up, even if you don't usually. Rotate your left outer hip under your body. Track the middle of your left knee with the middle toe facing the middle of your mat. Hug in the front ribs and spin your chest to face the ceiling. You might be gazing up past your right thumb. From your right shoulder, rotate the tricep to face the right wall. Pinky finger towards the right wall. Sweep the right arm overhead towards the front wall and draw both of your shoulder blades further down your back. Keep tacking the left hip crease back, and if available, maybe you lower the block or fingertips to the ground. Root down to the outer edge of your right foot and trace that line of energy in your mind's eye up your right leg, up your tailbone, up your spine, and out to your right arm and fingertips. 2 more breaths. Extended side angle pose. Utthita Parshvakonasana. Pressing to your feet. Inhale, rise into peaceful warrior, sweeping the left arm towards your back wall. Exhale, place your hands on the floor. Take a vinyasa if you choose, or cat-cow. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step or hop about 1.5 feet inward from the front of your mat. Grab a block and place it across underneath your feet. Come to stand on the block so it's a platform. And then bring the inner edges of your big toes to touch. So you're standing in mountain pose with feet together. Steady your eyes on the ground just ahead of your mat and steady your breathing again. Bend your knees together and sink your hips back, sitting in chair pose. Hug the front ribs towards the back of your body and lengthen your tailbone down. Relax the shoulders. From Utkatasana chair, start to lift your heels. Sink your hips a little lower. Lift your heels some more. Sink your hips a little lower if possible. Then splay open your thighs and place your fingertips on the ground about a foot in front of the block. Stay high on the balls of your feet. Sink your hips back, maybe walk the fingertips forward as you bow deeply in a squat. Or let's play with crow pose or crane pose here. Placing your hands flat on the floor, rotate your triceps towards the back of your mat. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, scoop in the belly, lift your pelvis high, then bend your elbows to the back wall, like chaturanga push-ups. Firm your knees towards the outsides of your upper arms. Then as you look ahead on the floor, help to shift your weight forward, maybe lifting your feet and bringing them together to touch. With elbows bent, it's called crane pose, kakasana. With arms straight, it's called crow pose, bakasana. How's your breathing? When you're done, step off the block with feet hips width apart. Bend your knees, parallel your feet, and take hold of opposite elbows. Maybe swinging the spine as you smoothen out your breath. Let's prepare for one cycle of sun salutation B. Come to the top of your mat with your feet touching. Bend your knees to touch. Let's move to the breath. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Walk or float back to Chaturanga Dandasana. Continue your Vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Let your breath lead. Inhale, sweep your right leg back. Exhale, step the foot beside your right thumb and drop the back heel. Face forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, lower into your Vinyasa. Second side from downward dog. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale the foot beside your left thumb and drop your right heel. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale into your Vinyasa. Downward dog. Pause for 3 to 5 breaths. Recalibrating. Bend your knees, look past your fingertips. Empty your breath, then walk or float to the top. With feet touching, inhale, lengthen forward. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Bend your knees together. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, rise up. Now find your 2 blocks, please, and place them on their tallest height, about a foot in front of your feet. Shoulders width apart. And with your feet together, firm your outer hips towards your midline. So it's part of your glutes, these outer hips. Engage that. Draw in your lower belly and lift it slightly towards your heart. Press down firmly through both feet. We're gonna prepare for eagle pose. Lots of bird poses today. So bend your knees like chair. Start with your knees together. Bend your elbows apart, then cross your right elbow over the left. Either hook your thumbs or press the backs of the hands into each other. Press the shoulders down and lengthen your neck. Sit a little lower and shift your weight onto your right foot. Turn out your left thigh at the hip. Flexing your left foot, wrap your left leg over the right as much as you can. You might tuck the toes behind the right calf. Scissor the left hip back enough so your knees and your elbows stack in one line, down the midline of your body. Maybe sit a little lower to help balance. If you're feeling pretty stable in your balance, maybe hinge forward from your hips, extending your chest forward to bring the elbows beyond the knees. Last 3 breaths in Garudasana, eagle pose. Place your fingertips on the blocks. Warrior 3. Stretch your spine forward, unravel your left leg behind you, parallel to the floor. Bend your right knee for a moment and look under your belly at your left toes and knee. Make sure they're all facing the ground. Then press your right outer hip crease back to level your hips. Then look on the floor ahead and lengthen your spine, stretching down the center of your body. Warrior 3. We're going to add some leg lifts here. In Warrior 3, lift your left heel even higher if possible, but keep engaging the belly in. Exhale, lower the left toes, maybe about a foot towards the floor. Inhale, lift the left heel. Exhale, hover the foot off the floor. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hover. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hover. Last one, keep tacking the right hip back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hover. Keep the blocks there and bend the right knee. Step into crescent lunge. Sweeping your arms overhead, landing on the ball of your left foot. Feet hips distance apart. Bend your back knee, drop your tailbone down. As you bend the front knee over the heels, scissor the right hip back, square your hips forward, then maybe straighten the left leg. Last couple of breaths. Bring your arms down by your sides, palms facing forward. Keep firming in the belly, and as though you have a flat back, bow vertically forward. So you're hovering the belly off of your right thigh. Keep hugging the right hip in, draw it back. Press your inner left heel towards the back wall. Chest towards the front wall, shoulders down the back. Last 3 breaths. If your lower back is feeling stable, raise your arms overhead, upper arms alongside your ears, shoulders down the back. Keep lifting the navel. Breathe. This is a variation of Degasana. Take another breath in. Exhale, step the left foot to meet the right, and come to stand in mountain pose. Hands together at the heart. Take a few breaths. Slow, even breaths through the nose. Bring your feet together, bend your knees together. Inhale into chair pose. Bend your elbows apart and cross the left elbow over the right. Either wrap your forearms in palms or press the backs of the hands against each other. Draw your shoulders down. Maybe sit a little lower. Transfer your weight onto your left foot and turn out your right thigh at the hip. Cross the right leg over the left, flexing the foot or tucking the toes behind your left calf, in which you'll probably need to scissor the right hip back to stack your elbows over your knees down your midline. You might find it helpful to sit lower. How is your breath? Garudasana, eagle pose. If your balance feels pretty stable, you might start to bow from your hips, extending your elbows in front of your knees. 3 more breaths. Begin to place your fingertips on the blocks. Extend your right leg straight back, flexing the foot. Bend your left knee, look under your belly at your right knee and toes. Make sure they're all facing the ground. Then tack your left outer hip back and level your hips. You might straighten the left leg. Reach the crown of your head towards the front wall. Feel your belly engaged as you stretch through the center line of your body. Inhale, lift your right heel a little bit higher if possible, but keep your hips squared. Exhale with the right leg straight. Lower your right toes to hover maybe a foot off the floor. Inhale, raise the right leg up. Exhale, hover the toes. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hover. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hover. Last one, inhale, lift. Exhale, hover, bend the left knee. Step the ball of your right foot back to a high lunge, lifting the arms in crescent pose. Bend your back knee as you draw the tailbone down and square your hips to face forward. Then maybe straighten the back leg. Bring your arms down by your sides, palms facing forward. Hug in your front ribs. Stretch your spine long and lean it forward diagonally, hovering your belly just a couple inches off your left thigh. Keep your hips squared. Tack the left hip back. Draw your heart forward. Last 3 breaths, you might raise your arms overhead so that your upper arms are alongside your ears, wrapping the triceps down. One more breath. Exhale, step the right foot to meet the left and fold forward. Separate your feet hips width apart, parallel, and feel free to bend your knees so that as you lift your toes, you're able to slip your palms face up under the soles of your feet in Pada Hastasana. Get your toes to meet the inner creases of your wrists to give your outer wrists a stretch. As you inhale, lift your spine forward, pressing your chest through your upper arms. As you exhale, bow in, drop the head, maybe bend the elbows apart, and lift the shoulders away from your neck. Let's stay here a few breaths. Slip your palms out from underneath. Set your blocks on their tallest height, a foot in front of your feet. Shoulders distance apart again. Bring your hands to your hips and point the elbows up. Lift through the chest and inhale slowly, rise up. All right, one more balancing pose with opening the hips. Bring your feet together to touch. Keep your hands on your hips and direct them to face forward. Bend your knees back into chair. Externally rotate your right thigh at the hip, and this time flexing the foot, create a figure 4. Cross the right ankle over your left thigh. Splaying the right thigh open, try to evenly draw your sitting bones back and down, engaging the lower belly. Look at the ground ahead. Breathe. You might place your fingertips on the blocks if they're reachable. You might place your hands flat on the blocks on their lowest height or on the floor. If so, curl your right toes around your left upper arm, creating a latch. Come onto your left tip toes and hollow your belly, lift your hips. As you bend the elbows back like chaturanga, place your right shin on top of both upper arms towards the armpits. Look past your fingertips on the ground and push the floor away. Use your right shin to push the upper arms away. Maybe lifting the left leg back, flexing the toes where the left knee is pointing down like warrior 3. This is called Eka Pada Galavasana, or flying pigeon pose. Whatever variation you're in, last 3 breaths. Setting the left foot down, slowly rise up to stand into mountain pose. A few breaths here. Slowing down your breathing, trusting your body, trusting yourself. And just playing with exploring what's available. Bring your feet together to touch. If the blocks moved away, you might set them up again in front of your feet. Bring your hands to your hips. Bend your knees like chair pose. Then turn out your left thigh at the hip. Flex your left foot and cross that ankle over your right thigh like a figure four. Splaying your left thigh open. Take your time, even though you know what's next. Be in the moment, breath by breath. There's no rush to the finish line. Draw the sitting bones back, draw the belly in. Maybe place your fingertips on blocks. Keep flexing your left foot. Keep breathing. Maybe plant your hands flat on the lowest height of the blocks or flat on the ground. If available, curl your left toes around the outside of your right upper arm like a latch. Come up high on your right toes, hollowing your belly as you lift your hips. Then bend your elbows towards the back of the room. Look ahead of your mat on the floor to shift your weight forward, placing your left shin on top of your upper arms. Press the floor away with your hands. Press the upper arms away with your left shin. By leaning your weight forward, you might be able to straighten the right leg behind you, flexing the foot like warrior three. 3 more breaths. And coming back to stand slowly, mountain pose. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Little bit of a back bend here. Press the hips forward, roll the shoulders down, lift your chest and look up. Bend your knees, place your hands on the floor, and let's lower from plank to the ground in Sphinx pose. Sphinx pose, place your forearms on the floor, landing your elbows right under your shoulders as you lift your chest. Slide your knees close together. Then bend your right knee, cross your left forearm in front of your chest, and backstroke your right arm. Catch hold of the big toe side of your right ankle or foot. Then to support your lower back, keep your knees no wider apart than your hips. Ground both of your frontal hip bones. Breathing slowly, bring your right heel slightly to the outside of your right hip. Chest facing forward, draw both of your shoulders back and down. Let's stay another 3 breaths here. The end of the exhale, come back to Sphinx pose. Slide your knees closer together. Then cross your right forearm in front of your chest and bend your left knee. Backstroke your left arm and catch the big toe side of the ankle or foot. With knees no wider apart than hips distance. Root down both of your frontal hip bones. Bring your left heel slightly to the outside of your left hip, relaxing your shoulders back as you turn your chest forward. Deep breaths. Then lower your forehead to the ground and prepare for bound locust pose with an optional transition to bow pose. I'll demonstrate. Bound locust, the legs remain straight, the feet are parallel. Then you interlace your fingers or hold a strap behind your lower back. With the arms straight, pressing the heels back, you lift everything you can, lifting the chest. Now you could stay here for 5 to 10 breaths, or from here, bending your knees, catch hold of your outer or inner feet and kick them back as you pull your feet towards you, coming into bow. So start in bound locust. Stay there for the whole 5 to 10 breaths, or after a few breaths, bend your knees and catch your feet. Try not to splay the knees apart, wider than your hips distance, again, to support your lower back. When you finish, release your legs and maybe cross your forearms under your forehead to rest for 3 breaths. We're gonna try that one last time here on our bellies. So as you're ready, set up, bring the knees close together, interlace your fingers, maybe the other thumb on top. Stretch your legs and lift up to bound Galavasana, locust. Stay here or transition to Dhanurasana, bow. A total of 5 to 10 breaths. And once you've let it go, this time as you rest, you might like to windshield wiper your shins. Help to relax the lower back. All right, we've got one last back bend. Come up to stand on your knees for camel pose, Ustrasana. Grab a block, hug the skinniest width of it between your knees and thighs. Tuck your toes, place your hands on your lower back, fingertips facing down. With your hands, gently press your pelvis forward and make sure that it stays right on top of your knees the whole pose. Also encourage your tailbone to anchor downward towards the ground between the knees. Lift your back ribs up and stretch your lower back. Then as you breathe in, lift your chest and peel the front of your shoulders behind your ears. Press the shoulder blades down and keep breathing. Hug your elbows closer and closer together to spread the collarbones wide. As you start to look up, lengthen the back of your neck by imagining you're hugging an apple between chin and chest. You might stay here or backstroke your right arm and catch hold of your right heel, then switch hands, or hold both heels for the remainder of 5 to 10 breaths in total. Camel pose. Pressing your hips forward. Imagine that you're bending your back mostly right under your shoulder blades. Ustrasana. When you're ready to come out, place your hands on your lower back, contract your belly, and slowly roll your spine upright. Then find a way to sit for a few breaths. Maybe closing your eyes, maybe resting your hands at your heart center. Let's meet sitting up for our spinal twist. Extend your left leg forward. Step your right foot on the ground, either right in front of your right hip or cross to the outside of your left knee. You might also bend the left knee there. Backstroke your right hand to the ground behind your pelvis. Press down evenly to your right and left sitting bones and raise your left arm up. Lift through the spine and breathe in. Keep your pelvis still and rotate your chest to the right as you breathe out. Lower your left arm to hold your right shin, or hook your left elbow outside your right thigh as you keep lengthening the spine and twisting. Two more breaths. At the end of this exhale, unwind your spine and straighten your right leg forward. Try to set up the same way in your twist for side 2. Step the left foot in front of the hip or outside the right knee, and maybe bend the right knee. Place the left hand behind your pelvis and raise your right arm up. Ground through both sitting bones and breathe in, lift your spine. Keep the pelvis still and exhale, turn your chest to the left. Lowering your right arm to hold your shin or hooking the elbow outside your thigh. Keep rooting down and rising as you inhale, twisting as you exhale. Last 2 breaths. At the end of the exhale, unwind your spine and let's come into bound angle pose. Bring the soles of your feet together to touch. Splay your knees apart. And if you've got tightness in your hip flexors, you might want to elevate your sitting bones on a folded blanket. Sit up tall by pressing your hips down. Roll your shoulders back and down. Keep your throat open. And as you exhale, firm the belly and start to hinge from your hips. Long spine, shoulders back and down. Maybe walk the hands forward. Pada Galavasana, bound angle pose. Last 2 breaths here. Press down to your hips and lift from your chest. Inhale to rise. Let's straighten both legs in front for Paschimottanasana, a seated forward fold. Now you might opt to use your strap around the balls of your feet here. And if you do, make sure you're giving yourself enough slack on the strap so that you can lift the chest as you're bowing. Otherwise, you might walk your hands down your legs and eventually clasp your big toes. So root your sitting bones, flex your feet, and press the insteps of your feet forward, slightly internally rotating your thighs, which is the opposite of what we've been doing a lot of today, which was the turn out. So there's a slight turn in, which creates some traction for the lower spine. And as you press your pelvis down, visualize, breathe in and lift your lower spine from your pelvis. Sit a little taller. Keep stretching, hug in the belly, and exhale, hinge just a little bit from your hips. Keep the spine long. Inhale where you are, press the pelvis down, stretch the lower spine a little more out of the hips, out through the crown. Shoulders back and down, exhale, keep folding. And just like that, let's take another 5 breaths. To come out, press your hips downward, hug in the belly, and lead with your chest. Breathe in to slowly rise. And let's set up for corpse pose. Come down onto your back. Use any props that you might need to bring your body into a comfortable stillness. Closing your eyes when you arrive in that position of Shavasana. Take a deep breath in through your nose, fill up everything. Hold the breath a few seconds, and then open your lips. Let it all go. you keep your eyes closed, begin to deepen your breath. Slowly rub your thumbs across your fingertips, sensing how you feel in your body. Begin to stretch it out with easy movements. And slowly roll over to your right side and rest your head for a few breaths. As you feel ready, press your hands into the ground and slowly lift your spine, bend your head. Place your body in a comfortable position to sit in for 5 minutes in meditation. You might like to elevate your pelvis on a folded blanket, allowing your knees to drop more easily. Place your hands in a mudra or gesture that helps you to pay attention to the present moment, like palms stacked face up on the center of your lap with thumb tips touching, or index and thumbs touching, hands by your knees. And sitting up tall, press your sitting bones down, relax your shoulders back and down. Close your eyes or steady a soft gaze on one spot just ahead at eye level. As your body breathes naturally, feel the breath in your body, entering and exiting it. As you become aware of sounds that might enter and exit your background, take note of them and land your attention back onto your body where you can sense the breath again. As you notice sensations shift or change, appear or disappear in your body, take note of them and land your attention back to where you can feel your breath in your body. And as you notice any thoughts that nudge at your attention or any feelings that might come and go, take notice of them, then land your attention back to your body where you sense your breath. Ease your attention to expand from the breath to your whole body, from your whole body to the physical space surrounding your body. And gently bring your palms together at your heart as we close the practice. Showing up for yourself as you did today and doing the work even when it's challenging. Those are ways to strengthen self-trust, to remember your capacity for whatever arises. Let's close the practice. Remember your intention that you set at the start. And remember that someone or something that you dedicated this practice to. And let's chant one Om together. Take a deep breath in. Thanks for joining. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.